only 17. I'm going to sit. I'm only 17 and I'm a recovering addict. I've only been out of rehab for about 2.5 weeks now. I've been struggling with drugs since I was 13 years old. And it's been an uphill battle the entire time. And I am nervous. But I'm not nervous because of you guys. I'm nervous because of him. I've hid from God since I was 13 years old. Because I'm ashamed. I was ashamed of what I was doing. But I always put that back here, back in my subconscious, back in the back of my head, you know. And after a while, it was okay. It was okay what I was doing. What I was doing was just fine. There's not a drug out there that I haven't tried at least once. I started out 13 years old just doing it to fit in, drinking when everybody else was drinking, smoke weed because everybody else is smoking weed. Then I hit about 14 and hung around a crowd that I didn't need to be with and got into a lot of really hard stuff. Started doing coke, smoking crack, really hard stuff. I wouldn't sleep for days and days and days on end. Got to the point where I couldn't get out of bed. My drug of choice ended up being Oxycontin. And that drug tore me apart. It broke down my body, it broke down my mind, it broke down my spirit. I couldn't roll myself out of bed without that drug. I couldn't function, I couldn't think, I couldn't do anything without my drugs. My world revolved around my drugs. And I'm not here to help anybody, I'm not here to preach to anybody, because God knows I don't need to be preaching to anybody. I don't need to be telling anybody how to live their life. I'm here because I need to be here. I need to say this. I've never sat in a church sober and come before God and a group of people and said that I was wrong and I need this. I need help. I needed help. I got help. It got to the point where I could look you straight in your eye and lie to you about anything. I lived a double life. I had to live 2 lives. I lived my drug life, and then I lived my home life, where everything was fine. Nobody had any idea what was going on. Half these people here in my family, did you guys have any clue that I was on drugs? Did a good job at hiding it. They say the first couple signs of somebody that's doing drugs is they stop taking care of themselves. If they're in school, their grades drop. You know, they start running around wild. I made sure I didn't do any of that. I kept my grades up, kept straight A's, kept myself clean, taken care of, makeup always done, hair always done, nails, toenails, whatever. Stayed pretty, tried to at least. And it was hard. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And that was my life. That was my life for 4 years. I didn't know anything else. That's the only thing I knew how to do. And that's still the only thing I know how to do. And I'm having a hard time learning new life. You know, when you're a kid, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, everybody takes care of you. Everybody shelters you. You know, you don't know what's out there. You don't know what you could become. You have no idea what all these people out here are doing. You have no clue. Then you hit about 13 and you're out in middle school and it's just like they take your blindfold off. Everything just runs at you at once, and if you're not strong enough to handle it, you're not going to handle it. You're going to go down. And I went down fast. I've been used. I've been used for money. I've been used for, I have a car. I got used for my car. Everybody said they cared about me. Nobody really cared about me. I've been beat half to death because I owed somebody money. And I was beat bad. Real bad. I owed a man money. A big man. And I went to his house. And I didn't have all of his money, and he got pretty mad. And he picked me up, And I was on cocaine at the time, so I was pretty small, pretty fragile, pretty frail, probably about 98 pounds. Picked me up, threw me across his room, kicked me a couple times, picked me up again, threw me out on the porch, kicked me off the porch and into the gravels, and then threw me into my car, into the front end of my car. And I came home and I'm bruised from my knees down to my ankles, and half a pound of makeup hiding my black eyes, and black and blue around my ribs and my chest. And nobody could know. You know, I told my mom I fell down the steps. She believed it. How could I, at 16 years old, tell my mom that I owed a 300-pound grown man, drug dealer, $500? I couldn't do that. And I've hurt my mom. I've hurt my family a lot. I've tore my family apart. And I want to tell them right now, I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt anybody. I never meant to hurt myself. I got to the point where I told people, this is who I am. I had a boyfriend and he didn't like one bit what I was doing. I hid it from him for 6 or 7 months, and he finally drug it out of me, and he told me it was either him or the drugs, and I said, baby, you gotta accept me for who I am. This is what I am, and I'll never be anything more. I'll never be anything better. I'm just a dopehead, and you just gotta deal with that. These are the things that I need to survive. And it was true. Those drugs, that's what I needed to survive. Well, 2.5 weeks ago, I just got out of rehab. I went into rehab in Florida, a place called 12 Oaks. Plane ride down there was miserable. First day I'd ever gone without drugs. I was completely miserable. My body hurt so bad. I got there and couldn't do anything but throw up and shake, and I was miserable. And the first 5 days were awful. When that drug gets in your body, it doesn't want to leave. And there's not much that can take that out. It attaches yourself to your muscles, your nerves, everything. And it's like when it leaves, it takes a little piece of you with it, and it's painful. It's really bad. The first 5 days I was there, I was in detox. And I didn't do anything but puke and sleep for 5 days. I wouldn't eat. They tried to force feed me. I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't hardly drink anything. All I could do was take the medication that they were giving me. And they were giving me a lot of medication just to keep me stable. Just to keep me from having seizures, because I almost slipped into a seizure one time. So they were giving me 3 different kinds of medication. 2 for pain and 1 for seizures and anxiety. They were giving me 2 of each pill 6 times a day, just to try to drag me off of this drug. When you talk about not having any hope, that's when you don't have any hope. Is when you're laying on the cold floor and every muscle in your body hurts so bad that all you can do is scream and cry because of drugs. It doesn't take you anywhere. It's no life to live. And I had this big theory that I was okay, that as long as I just needed my drug just to be normal, that I wasn't doing it to get high, then that was okay. And I could still go to college, and I could still do the things I wanted to do, and I could still be the person I wanted to be in the end, and everything would be okay. But it's not. It's not okay. It's no way to live. Having to live two lives at once, it's no way to live.